Hi everyone. So today in this class I want to discuss with you one very important business law topic. If you watch this video, you are going to gain knowledge through my lecture as well as notes also is available for the topic. So whatever points I have mentioned here, you can copy and you can learn for the answer, and those are important from the examination point of view. So hope you like this video. Let us go to the lecture. In this video I want to explain a topic that is no consideration, no contract. If there is no consideration in the contract, actually that is not a valid contract. I explained in the previous videos that while explaining essential elements of a valid contract, consideration is essential element to make a contract, and that becomes only valid if there is a consideration. So consideration is very essential element. But if there is no consideration, there is no contract. But in few cases, even there is no consideration in the contract, those contracts are valid. So exceptions are there for this rule. No consideration, no contract is a rule, and for this rule some exceptions are there. What are those exceptions? Let us discuss those exceptions in this class. So here actually consideration means what? Consideration means something in return. Okay, so there are two parties in the contract. One party has to receive something, the other party also has to get some benefit out of that contract. So both must have some consideration out of the agreement that is made in between two parties. Okay, if there is no consideration, there is no contract, but few exceptions are there. Let us discuss what are those exceptions, because if consideration is not there, that contract is void, actually not enforceable by law. But what are the exceptions for this rule? Those all exceptions are mentioned under section 25 of Indian Contract Act. Let us discuss what are those, because even there is no consideration in few contracts and those contracts are valid. Let us discuss what are all those exceptions. First one, natural love and affection. So this point is explained under section 25 subsection 1 of Indian Contract Act. So what is this actually? If any agreement, if any contract is made out of natural love and affection, then that is valid, even there is no consideration in the contract. Even there is no consideration, if contract is made out of natural love and affection, then that is valid contract. That is not void one, that is valid contract. Okay, this is the first exception to the no consideration, no contract rule. But if we want to treat that as a valid contract, it has to possess some qualifications. What are those? That contract or that agreement must be in writing and must be registered. And not only that, that should be made on account of love and affection between the parties. And there should be some standing relationship between each other. Okay, there should be some relationship between each other, and that one party has to perform something towards the other party out of natural love and affection, and that contract must be, or that agreement must be in writing, and it should be registered. Then only it is a valid contract, even there is no consideration in the contract. Let us take one example here. You can see example I have given down under third point. A is one person, for natural love and affection, promises to give his son B. B is A's son. So A is promising, father is promising son B that he will give 1000 rupees to son. A puts his promise to be into writing and registers it. So A is going to give some money, 1000 rupees to B, because he has natural love and affection on his son. Okay, but in return A is not getting any benefit from B. But what A did, whatever promises he made, he actually have written everything and he registered it. So even there is no consideration, we can treat it as a valid contract. That is a contract, and that is valid contract. That is not a void one. That is valid contract. Okay, even A is not getting any benefit out of that. Okay, A is not getting any consideration from B, but A is giving some consideration to B. A is not getting any consideration from B. Even then that is a valid one, because that agreement is in writing and registered, and that is made out of love and affection, and there is relationship among these parties. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone. Let us go and discuss next point. Next exception is compensation for services rendered, and this is explained under section 25 subsection 2 of Indian Contract Act. So let us discuss what is that. Any agreement made without any consideration is valid only. Under what circumstances it is valid? If it is a promise to compensate for services rendered voluntarily. So if you want to understand this point, let us discuss something. There is no actually one person rendered some services voluntarily. Okay, so but other party, what other party is saying, he is going to give some benefit to the first party because he rendered some services voluntarily. Okay, so here consideration is only for the first party who rendered services. Okay, so why is getting the consideration? Because he rendered some services. Okay, he is not giving any consideration to him, just he rendered services. That is why here what is actually the point? Compensation for services rendered. Even there is no consideration for one party, consideration is available to the other party, but here consideration one party is receiving because he rendered services to the other party. That is a valid contract. Even there is no consideration for one of the party in the contract. Let us discuss one example, then you will understand in a better way. Example, A, one person, he finds B's purse. Okay, so A is one person, B is another person. So A finds B's purse, and what A is doing? He is giving B's purse back to him. Okay, here A is rendering some services, and here what B is doing? B is promising that he is going to give 100 rupees to A, and we can say that this is a valid contract because A is rendering services, B is paying money. Here for services rendered, if any party receives any amount of consideration, that is valid only because it is one of the exception under no consideration no contract rule. Okay, here one party B actually is not going to get any consideration from A, just A is rendering some services to B. B is paying money, means giving some consideration to A. Even then that is valid. Okay, here only one party is receiving consideration, other party is rendering services. Okay, for rendering services, whatever compensation is going to be received, that is treated as valid contract. Okay, let us discuss next one, time barred debt under section 25 and subsection 3. So this time barred debt exception is discussed under section 25 subsection 3 of Indian Contract Act. What is this? Let us see what is first of all time barred debt. Suppose there are two parties, one party has to pay money to another party. So there is some time period for that. For example, 3 months. 3 months finished, but within the 3 months period one party has to pay money. The due period expired, even then that person did not pay. So we can call that amount, the due amount, the debt, as time barred debt. Okay, time actually expired, so we can call that as a time barred debt. In case of these debts, those will become actually valid one valid contracts if any contract is made for collection of this time barred debts. Let us discuss what is that. Here one promise to pay time barred debt is enforceable actually, okay, but this time barred debt, whatever time barred debts are there, so whenever they are going to receive or they are going to pay, that time that agreement should be in writing and must be signed by the promisor. Whoever is going to whoever the person who actually is going to promise to pay time barred debt, he has to write about his promise on the paper and he must sign whatever words he is saying, that should be written on the paper and he has to sign on that, okay, then it is valid one. Actually one promisor has to pay some money to another person. He failed to pay within the time period, and again what he is doing, he is saying that he is going to pay money, so the debt became time barred. Now whenever the new agreement is going to be made, that time promisor means whoever is promising to pay debt, so promisor has to make the agreement in writing and he must sign on that, okay, then it becomes a valid contract. He himself can sign, otherwise his agent also may sign, both are valid one, okay, then it is enforceable by law, even there is no consideration for the one party. So here let us see, but oral promise is not a valid one, it should be in written and must be signed. Let us discuss one example, then you will understand in a better way. Raghav is one person, he owes Murali, so Raghav has to pay money to Murali. How much? 10,000 rupees. So Raghav has to pay 10,000 rupees to Murali, but he did not pay. There is time period, he did not pay within the time period, so the debt became time barred debt, okay, so by limitation act the debt became time barred. But later what Raghav is doing, he is promising Murali that he is going to pay 4,500 rupees instead of 10,000. He is promising that he is going to pay only 4,500 to settle his account, and this word should be in writing. So Raghav has to write on one document and he has to sign, okay, then it will become a valid contract. Here Raghav is paying to Murali, it is a new agreement, but Murali in return he is not giving. Why Raghav is paying? Because he actually owes to Murali, that is why he is paying now, okay, he owes Murali, that is why he is paying now, okay, because he couldn't pay in the previous agreement, because there was some time period mentioned in the previous agreement, time actually expired and he did not pay money within the time period, and later again he is promising that he will pay money but not completely, he is going to settle his account and he is going to pay 4,500 rupees only. Anyhow it is a valid one. Raghav is promising in writing he is going to pay 4,500. So here Raghav is giving consideration to Murali. In return Murali at present is not giving anything in the present agreement. Even then that is a valid one because it is related to time barred debt. Okay. So let us go and discuss next one. Next one is completed gifts. Completed gifts. Actually these points, explanation of this point is explained in the actually explanation of this point is explained here, and actually from first section to 25 section there is a rule that no contract, no consideration, no contract, but some exceptions are there, okay, but these completed gifts actually are explained here in this topic. If any gift is given by one person to the another person, okay, here one person, whoever is giving the gift, we can call him as a donor, and the one who is receiving gift, we can call him as a donee, okay. If any gifts are there like that, here one person, donor is giving gift to donee, so donor is not getting any benefit from donee, even then he is giving gifts, okay, so that is a valid one. what the rule is saying, that is a valid one. Okay, so why it is a valid one? Because it is related to completed gifts, and in case of these kinds of completed gifts, one person, even though he is not getting any benefit, if he transfers money or property to the another person or donates to another person, okay, so under the provisions of Transfer of Property Act, he cannot get it back again once he donated it. It is a valid one, even he is not having any consideration in this contract. Donor is transferring property or money to donee, so donor in return is not getting anything. So what this point is saying, that is a valid contract. Okay, so some provisions are there in Transfer of Property Act. So those provisions are saying that once the property is donated, he cannot get it back again. He cannot claim it again by saying that there is no consideration to him. Okay, once he donates it, that's finished. So he cannot get it back again, even though he is not having any consideration from donee. Okay, so this is also becomes a valid contract. So let us discuss another point, that is agency. This point is explained under section 185 of Indian Contract Act. So what this point is saying, so agency contracts also valid. Okay, so even actually what we are saying, no consideration, no contract. Some exceptions we are discussing. So one of the exception is agency. So agency means if one person appoints the other person to do something on behalf of the first party, we can call that as a agency contract. So the one who appoints is known as principal. The other party, whoever is going to work on behalf of the principal, is known as agent. So the agreements or contracts made in between principal and agent under the agency contract are valid even there is no consideration. Okay, in case of agency contracts, consideration is not required. It is one of the exception for this rule. Hope this is clear. Let us go and discuss next point, that is guarantee. So guarantee contracts also are valid even there is no consideration in the contract. So one person or company gives guarantee to another person regarding the products, then the guarantee contracts also valid even there is no consideration in the contract. Okay, let us discuss next exception, that is remission. This is explained under section 63 of Indian Contract Act. What is this remission? Remission means receiving less amount than what actually one person have to receive. Okay, that is known as remission. I am explaining once again. Remission means receiving less money than what actually he has to receive. That is known as remission. So in case of remission also, consideration is not required to one party. That is actually valid one. Okay, in case of remission contracts, in case of remission, consideration is not required. So I think you understood topic. This is about no consideration, no contract rule exceptions. Hope it is clear for everyone. If you understand it, mention in the comment section. If any doubts, that also you can mention in the comment section. I will reply for that. And hope this video is useful for everyone. If you understand, like the video, share the video so that it will be useful for other students also. Subscribe the channel also. Thank you.